Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, a 21-game salute for Splatoon 2's final Splatfest. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We are going to be talking about the news from the week, including the final Splatfest for Splatoon 2, and also we're going to talk about people complaining about the lack of National Pokédex in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And then on Thursday, we are going to be celebrating America's independence by listing our favorite Nintendo dependents. So we're celebrating children characters in the Nintendo canon. But in the meantime, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's the beginning of July.
Yeah, you bet it is.
So famously, you and I are about to reveal our beach bodies for the year.
Yeah, well, and these are bodies that we slave over. I would say that
Absolutely.
that just it's a lot. It takes a lot of work, a lot of restraint. We absolutely do not eat donuts, not with each other.
Certainly not alone.
No, certainly not alone in
so
our rooms crying.
Any photos you saw of us from E3,
yes,
those were the old us. We've shed those skins like so many muscular snakes.
That's right. And now we are like the most muscular snakes, which is why we are changing the name of this show to the Boa Constrictor Boys. Boa constrictors are muscular snakes, yes?
Yeah,
they gotta be.
I mean, they're squeezing everything.
They squeeze the heck out of you. Speaking of squeeze the heck out of you, you want to borrow my copy of Sonic Forces for the Nintendo Switch, do you not?
It's super easy.
It's super easy. All you got to do is slowly coil yourself around your prey and squeeze it until it dies.
And if that doesn't work for you,
yeah,
just send us an email with your mailing address.
That's right. You just shoot us an email at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com and let us know where you want us to send this thing, and we'll send it there. And that's all there is to it.
That's it.
It's not complicated. It is easy.
Yeah, it doesn't require the amount of dedication, and I cannot stress this enough, that Patrick and I
yes,
have put into perfecting our beach bodies.
And each other's beach bodies.
That's right.
Like a lot of work into my body, a lot of work into your body.
And, we're very critical of each other this time of year, but
very
it's for the
critical.
greater good.
That's right. All right, Mark, let's get into what we've been playing this week. Big news, of course, on Friday, Super Mario Maker 2 came out, which means Mark wants to talk about Rain City a little.
That's right. It happened. I said in last week's episode that I was interested in a game,
yes,
and that actually turned into the purchase of a game.
Yeah, an uncommon thing, right?
Yeah.
You and I will frequently be like, oh, that looks interesting.
Oh, we're real loose with throwing that out there.
Yeah, we got to spend time on our bodies. How is Rain City?
So, I find it kind of like opaque occasionally, or the puzzle design is frustrating on occasion, and like
remind the listener, but also me, what type of game?
Okay,
Rain City is.
It's like a point-and-click adventure game,
okay,
basically.
Yeah, great.
Not a ton of dialogue. You're an animal. You're in a city with other animals.
Okay.
Anthropomorphic animals.
BoJack Horseman style.
It's raining all the time.
Okay.
So you're trying to figure out your sister, who's a journalist, disappeared. You're trying to figure out where she went and maybe why it's raining all the time in Rain City.
Interesting.
But there's not a lot of dialogue, which I like, but that means that sometimes I found myself solving puzzles by just like clicking or like getting an item out and waving it all over the screen until like I see where I can do it.
That's not super fun.
The other thing is that not very many other people are playing this game, so when I get stuck on a puzzle, I have to solve it myself, which is sometimes really frustrating.
Yeah.
When you don't know what you're supposed to do. There's one in particular where you have to like gather all these helicopter parts, which that part is totally fine. But then you're supposed to put the helicopter parts together, and the mechanic of moving it from your inventory to like where you're supposed to place them was so I found convoluted. That I thought I was solving a puzzle by doing one thing, but really it was just like a second inventory. It was kind of confusing. The rest of the game has not been like that, but
That almost just makes it worse, though. It's just this one time you have to understand something different.
Yeah, like the puzzle design is uneven, but the aesthetic is really cool. We've talked in the past about how I really like rain levels.
Loves rain.
So the fact that the entire game is set in a rain world is really appealing to me. I'm enjoying it. Again, it was less than $8, so I don't feel like I was ripped off or anything, but I would be cautious to recommend it to anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Check out the demo. There's a demo. If this sounds interesting, grab the demo. If you like the demo, you'll probably like the full game.
Not a Nintendo game, but you saying that you had to solve a puzzle and there was no way to look it up. I started playing The Witness last week, which is a game that I had, purchased for free, with as part of my PlayStation Plus, whatever that's called, the online account thing there.
I think just that.
I think I did it. Yeah.
This is the game by Jonathan Blow.
That's correct.
Also creator of Braid. I'm assuming he doesn't program these things himself.
Well,
is he like Walt Disney? In like the old cartoon days where it's like a Walt Disney production and nobody else gets their names on the credits.
I mean, I think Braid at the very least was just that he designed the whole game and then like got a graphic designer to like make it look pretty. But like otherwise that game is just a programming labor of love from him, and I'm sure he had a bigger team on The Witness. But like Braid, what's good about The Witness is just the quality of the puzzles that's in there. So I won't spend too much time talking about it because it's not a Nintendo game and it's not new, so it's a little bit weird to dwell on it. But I was also like, all of the solutions to all those puzzles are online. I could find them all there. But the way they build on each other and the game communicates itself wordlessly. So like to see any writing about the game feels weird because like that's not how the game talks about itself. But then also like if you take one shortcut and don't learn the lesson that a puzzle presents you, you're not going to be able to do the next puzzle. So like as soon as you start cheating, you have to cheat all the way to the end. Otherwise, like that, you just won't be able to do it. So I was really enjoying it, and had like I was going at a good pace for a little bit, and then took like a day or two away from it, and then went back and was like, where am I? How do these puzzles work? But it's a really cool game, and if it ever comes to the Switch, I'm probably gonna hop back into it and do it there, so I could play it on the go too, because it's really great. But Mark, let's talk about Super Mario Maker.
I'm loving it.
Me too.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that I did not really play very much of the Wii U version, or like the 3DS iteration of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it all feels very new to me, and so I'm interested to see how it compares for somebody who is like you, who's much more familiar with the Wii U version.
Yeah. Well, so I've probably expressed on the show before that I was a little bit nervous about just the creator interface, because I was so accustomed to the stylus and like Wii U gamepad controls for all of that. Like that felt very intuitive to me, and it felt like fun and fluid to be making levels and then snapping into the to the play mode. And they mostly figured it. Like it's really good and really satisfying to make levels in this thing. I've made one level that I actually feel good about, another one that I don't feel very good about. But like I'm excited to get even like faster and more fluid with those creation tools. But it's amazing how fast it is already. And then just like from a single player perspective, I feel like this game has way more to offer.
Yeah, so I haven't gone into Course Builder at all. Like
Yeah.
I haven't even opened it up yet. I've purely done story mode.
Yes.
And I'm like 75% done with the castle. But still have like a ton of levels left for. I think I'm only like at like 45 out of 100 or so
over
levels.
100, yeah.
Yeah, and then the other part I've been spending a lot of time in is Course World.
Yeah.
Doing both the network play, so I've been playing online just in like the multiplayer co-op.
Yeah.
And then also the endless challenge part of it, where basically you pick like an easy level, a normal level, or different challenge
Different
levels.
maps, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you try to get through as many random specifically chosen levels of that difficulty, like as far as you can go. And as you go along, you see, oh, you've done like 15 easy. You are like 80th or 80,000th in the worldwide leaderboards.
Yeah.
But I've just been really impressed. First of all, story mode is great.
Yeah.
Like, it's really fun.
It's super cute. That Undo Dog is adorable. And just like, yeah, the weird little like twists and turns and like things that pop up that like, it starts with a very like simple premise of like, oh, the dog nuked the castle. You have to build the castle again. But like little things just like happen. Toads go missing, or like a block comes to life, or you find a pipe that goes underground. It's so much bigger than it initially presents itself as.
I've also just found, like, I went into Super Mario Maker 2 assuming that I wasn't really going to make any levels. I would mess around with the level maker a little bit, but then that's not my experience with that game. But through the story mode, and I'm assuming this is why story mode exists, there are times where I've like played through a level and been like, ooh, that gave me an idea for like something I could build.
Yeah. Well, and all of these Nintendo made levels are very good at the Nintendo thing, and like the very Mario thing, when something that we talked about on our 250-ish episode spectacular, that like they take one idea for a level and then iterate on it so that you see every version of that one fun idea, and they just make you play it over and over again. And like that's what all the best levels are. You'll see levels that are more like kind of hodgepodge and like just hey, and here's a room with like two big Bowsers in it, and you're like, okay, whatever. But like the best levels like pick a theme and then stick to it, and the Nintendo made levels are all really good at that.
So have you tried any of the online stuff yet?
So I have uploaded my one course, and I played one like easy whatever that is called in Course World.
Yeah,
like going through that. And then I've also just done like some sort of like the non-structured, just like picking a creator either from like the hot list or whatever, and just playing some levels here and there, and hearting things when I like them, and so I haven't done any of the like online play, like any of the co-op or competitive, but yeah, I've been playing a little bit of just player generated levels.
So I've enjoyed the online co-op that I've played. The one thing I will say is that anytime I'm on Wi-Fi, it's horrible.
Oh yeah.
Like the network adapter has been completely like necessary, and even then sometimes it's really bad, but the network adapter has helped a lot. It's like Smash Brothers level of just like unplayable.
Man,
sometimes
that's a bummer.
But I was actually really surprised when it's working. It's a lot of fun, and I would like to try it in room with like a bunch of people.
Yeah,
with a bunch of friends. I was surprised. So I started out doing the network play, like the online multiplayer co-op, and then doing the endless challenge stuff. And then I went into courses like you, and I was looking at, like the hot courses, all that kind of stuff. And I was surprised at how like so soon there were some really well done, fun levels.
There's crazy stuff up there that was seemingly available from like the first day. I played a level that's basically a Pong simulator. So like you stand on one side and you jump to like control a platform that will block a shell that's bouncing around.
Because there's like a cannon or something, and then like when you get 3, you could go. Yeah, it was like tabletop. Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, there was one, I can't remember, that what I was worried was that they were all going to be like, for the most part, just bad. Like too hard, thoughtlessly made, the stuff that I would do.
Right.
But they're not at all. Like there are actually some really good, amazing levels, and most of them are short enough that they don't like, even the hard ones don't outstay their welcome. And even the ones that are, you're just kind of like, oh, that was fine, that was okay, or whatever.
Yeah, and if
you just like finish it and move past it.
Right. And if they are hard and long, I mean, people are pretty good about being generous with checkpoint flags. Like I actually don't think I have played a level yet that I've been like, all right, forget this. I'm not gonna try. But there were those all the time in the original Super Mario Maker. People just like trying to make something that is like impossibly difficult. And I'm sure all that is coming, and it's not going to be a perfect playground forever. But I do think that just like having the kind of like tags in there that you can be like, oh yeah, short and sweet, or easy or medium, or normal, I guess, whatever the difficulty level is, makes it all feel like very approachable and welcoming.
Yeah, I just hope the cream continues to rise to the top.
Yeah.
Because even when I encountered what I thought were challenging, they were like in a fair way, and that's fun to me. Like I like seeing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we should. It
Yes,
continues to
we
be
should-
easy to find stuff,
And
but also
and
we should
play
exchange.
together. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and we should put our creator codes up in episode descriptions. Probably not going to be this week, but look for it in the future, and we'll probably plug them as we actually
It's
are.
just a
making
reason
levels.
for you to come back. We're
Oh,
just,
yeah.
we're hooking you. Treating
right.
you like a mackerel.
Reel them in. All right, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
Today, July 2nd, Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered
No,
is out for Switch.
because it takes place on Mars.
Yes.
Okay, look. If we're gonna remaster games and remake games, we can't be cute about the word.
I don't hate it.
I do. Just like I don't like Darksiders Definitive Edition.
Definitive?
Yes.
See, that one I don't care for.
Now, what's the difference? They're both bad.
This one seems nice.
Okay. All right.
And I like that. And then also Dream Daddy is released for the Switch eShop.
That's exciting. I've always wanted to play Dream Daddy, and never have.
And then on July 4th, Stranger Things 3, the game, is released. And also What Remains of Edith Finch
That's
is coming to the Switch.
So Stranger Things 3, that is in conjunction with the third season of Stranger Things, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Are you remind me where you are with Stranger Things? Are you
My husband and I watch it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't feel strongly one way or the other about
Okay.
it.
Are you interested in the game at all?
Not particularly.
Okay.
I don't think I need more of Stranger Things.
Right. But you will watch it? The third season?
Yeah, for sure.
I recently made a second attempt at watching the first season and stalled out like 3 or 4 episodes in. I don't know why. It just doesn't hook me.
I think that's totally fair.
Thank you.
And then on July 5th, Attack on Titan 2 Final Battle is released.
It's about time they got to that final battle, right?
I don't want to call them liars.
Hmm.
I don't think this is the last Attack on Titan game we're going to see.
Hold on. The name of the game is Attack on Titan 2 Final Battle. Mark, how could there possibly be another Attack on Titan game after this?
Maybe there'll be an Attack on Titan 3, and that's how they'll get away
Attack on Titan 3 First Battle.
how they'll get around this legally binding loophole that is a game title.
All right, Mark, let's get out of the new releases. Now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Today, we're going to be talking about if we were running a like novelty or like special Twitter account, what would it be?
Right. So for like example,
Here are some examples.
the daily Snagglepuss, where somebody just like, or maybe a bot, maybe it's not a person, just tweets out
Right.
a still frame from the Snagglepuss cartoons.
There is a Twitter account that tweets phrases and names of things that can be sung to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song.
Oh yes, I've seen that one's been getting a lot of traction.
That one's been
recently.
getting a lot of traction. So this is where we are. This is what we're talking about.
Mhm.
We were before we started recording, we were talking about the Sesame Street Muppets Twitter accounts. Cookie Monsters is delightful, but the counts is truly something special. He just counts. He just does the next number, and that's always the number of his tweet.
Yeah, and his tweets they've always just been this from the beginning. From
Right.
1 to like, I don't even know. He's at like 300,000 now or something like that.
Right. So the what like that, what thing like that would we just put out into the world? like a no context, whatever.
Right.
And Mark, have you given any thought to what yours would be? Because let me tell you, I have not given any thought to what mine would be.
I think the world is ready for someone to tweet out pictures of just like counting a stack of money. So I start from $1 bill, and it's like a picture of the $1 bill, and every day I just add $1 to it, and so the stack just continues to grow larger and larger, presumably till I'm a millionaire, and then the account is over and I delete it.
That's yeah, because then you would be a millionaire, or just like a change jar. Like a swear jar. If you had a swear jar somewhere, and then every time someone swore, they put money in it, and you took a picture of it, and then put the swear word and tweeted that out. That'd be pretty good. There was a while where I thought it would be fun to have a Twitter or Instagram account that was just jokes with no punchline. There are things that sounded like jokes, but with no punchline.
Oh, so not just like you would tweet the setup to a joke.
I mean, that's what it is, but it would be like, why did the alligator lose his glasses?
Oh, so it wouldn't be.
That's it.
So, I gotcha. So it would be the setup. It wouldn't be unfunny jokes.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it would be the setup. It would sound like the setup to a joke, but you would have no punchline in mind, and you would just tweet that. Which is still something I might do because I think it's a good idea.
I feel like things like the Daily Snagglepuss totally. Nobody's getting hurt.
Sure.
The thing that kind of like I don't really understand is the like accounts that tweet Far Side comics.
Okay.
Where you're just like, those are owned by somebody.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine that Gary Larson, who I think is dead, but
how would we ever know?
How would we ever know?
How do you feel about like Garfield minus Garfield?
I feel like that's fine because you're like commenting on the art. You're not just like tweeting the art.
I mean, I feel like it's a comment once or twice, but it's been going for years, and the guy's just removing Garfield from Garfield comic strips, and it's amazing, and I love it. And John Arbuckle is so sad. And I think he's actually put out a book of Garfield minus Garfield comic books that like Jim Davis wrote the foreword to. So like, there's obviously some amount of blessing there. But yeah, it is a little bit weirder when they just post a comic that like someone definitely owns,
or anything, where they're just like, here's something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get that, but at the same time, I'm fine with like the Simpson jokes a day or whatever.
Yeah, I like a Simpson quote of the day. I like that too. I also like I like any old video game art Twitter accounts. Those are always fun. Because man, I love seeing like instruction booklet drawings. Like conceptual drawings of characters and stuff. Oh, well, I guess we'll never know what we like.
Or if Gary Larson's alive.
We will. Okay. This is our promise to you, is that we will never know if Gary Larson is alive or dead. Today we are accompanied by the Brussels Chamber Choir. Okay, Mark, are you ready to get into the news?
Let's do it. To commemorate Splatoon 2's final Splatfest, Nintendo is really pulling out all the
all the splats?
All the
is
splats.
that what you were going to say?
It wasn't. I was struggling.
Stops.
Of course.
Yeah.
That is, of course, the way that phrase ends.
It comes from playing an organ. Because in an organ, like in a church, it has all of the like little knobs that change the tone of the organ, and those are called stops.
Because when they're closed,
it stops. Yes,
I understand.
So when you open all the stops, that's when it's essentially like turning on all of the patches on your electronic keyboard at once. So the organ just makes all of its sounds. It's at its biggest and its loudest.
And that is exactly what Nintendo is doing.
Yes.
To celebrate Splatoon 2's final Splatfest later this month. They're holding a Tetris 99 Maximus Cup from July 12th to July 15th. Players who earn 100 points will unlock a special in-game Splatoon 2 theme.
Cool. That was one of the things that I was missing from this last Tetris Maximus Cup, is that there was no reward for getting the 100 points.
Yeah, totally. Once they primed that pump with the Game Boy theme, it's like I just expect it every time.
Yeah. Well, and also it's weird to just have like two themes in there. Like I can just switch back between the two. Like, give me more choices.
I'm excited to see what the Splatoon 2 one is. Like, is it going to play the pop music
Oh,
from
man.
Splatoon series? Will it make like splat sounds?
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, so very excited for this. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is also getting in on the final Splatfest act. Starting July 12th, there will be a special Splatoon 2 themed Spirit Board event where you get more SP for defeating spirits from the Splatoon series.
Which is super cool. I mean, they've been running these Spirit Board events kind of nonstop, right? Or at least there's as soon as one is over, there's another one coming up.
Yeah.
Which all it really does is change how you might be spending time in the Spirit Board, but it's still just like a fun little way for them to direct your attention.
Also, you can craft special Splatoon 2 Final Splatfest t-shirts in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. The shirts are available as a login bonus between now and July 25th.
So if anyone's still playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, because you have to wait until March 20th, 2020 to play the new game on Switch, you can do Splatoon 2 stuff.
Also, Nintendo is going to be selling actual real t-shirts in North America and Europe through Nintendo's online store in mid-July. It's black and gold for Chaos. It's like a black t-shirt with gold like word mark on it.
Yeah.
And a picture of Pearl, and then white and silver for Order.
Whoa, so you can actually like vote in real life?
Yeah,
you
can
with
rep
your t-shirt. I mean, that is pretty cool. Why are they going all out for this one? I understand it's the last one, and they are planning no further content updates for Splatoon 2 after this one. But like, it seems like they are going all out crazy for this.
Yeah,
thing.
it's a real full court press.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, Splatoon 2 has definitely taken the Splatoon franchise to another echelon.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, and like the original Splatoon had done a pretty good job of being a successful like an esport, and we were complaining earlier about like how the Switch actually handles online, but like it handles Splatoon pretty well.
I know, that's what's so weird about like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I've never had a problem with the online. Splatoon 2, I've never really had a problem with the online, even when I was playing just on Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Like you get booted every now and then.
Yeah, but other games are seemingly just terrible.
Yeah. What's going on?
We'll truly never know.
That's right. So we have talked before that like, okay, we need to actually participate in this Splatfest. Like it's something that we actually need to do.
Mm-hmm.
No more, screwing around and being like, oh yeah, next Splatfest sounds
I'd be
fun.
a unicorn or whatever.
Yeah, or a narwhal. Was that the last one? Unicorns versus narwhals?
Was it just horns? Was that the
things with horns? Things with a single horn? But I think we actually need to participate in this one. It feels like it has grown bigger than your normal Splatfest. And Mark, I believe that we must be participants.
I think so too, especially because presumably, like the final Splatfest in the original Splatoon game had implications for the in-game world of Splatoon 2. I assume that Splatoon 3 will be influenced by Splatoon 2's final Splatfest.
I wonder if they're going to take data from all of these other games and all the other like the tie-in events to help determine if chaos or order prevails.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they're that.
I don't think so either.
Like,
but it would be cool if there was
our like in real life T-shirt sales tip the scales one way or the other.
I mean, why not? Get on it, Nintendo.
As some fans continue to be upset about news that the upcoming Pokemon Sword and Shield won't contain the entire Pokedex, longtime Pokemon developer and producer Junichi Masuda released a statement on the official Pokemon website.
Now, before we get to the statement, do we just want to like quickly recap the story?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Pokemon Sword and Shield, unlike previous Pokemon games, will not have a what's called a national Pokedex, which means every Pokemon that has appeared in previous Pokemon games will not be in the new one. And part of what's a bummer about that is that you will not be able to transfer every single Pokemon from Pokemon Home to Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Now, this had happened before. I think with like the first DS one?
Or maybe the first 3DS one?
Something like that. I think it was further back than that. Maybe it was even the Game Boy Advance. But there was a point similar to this where they were like, this first game in this generation is not going to have all the Pokemon, and then later games did.
Right. So that is where we are right now. At this point, an unspecified number of Pokemon from earlier generations will not only not appear in the game natively, but will not be transferable into Pokemon Sword and Shield.
So this is what Mr. Masuda said. Quote, "Thank you to all of our fans for caring so deeply about Pokemon. Recently, I shared the news that some Pokemon cannot be transferred to Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. I've read all your comments and appreciate your love and passion for Pokemon. Just like all of you, we are passionate about Pokemon, and each and every one of them is very important to us. After so many years of developing the Pokemon video games, this was a very difficult decision for me. I'd like to make one thing clear. Even if a specific Pokemon is not available in Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, that does not mean it will not appear in future games. The world of Pokemon continues to evolve. The Galar region offers new Pokemon to encounter, trainers to battle, and adventures to embark on. We are pouring our hearts into these games, and we hope you will look forward to joining us on this new journey."
Okay, so nowhere in this quote does he say or even imply that they're working on it.
Right.
Right? The game will not have all of the Pokemon in it, period. And I know people are like holding out hope that they will be patched in later.
Yeah, if you call them lazy enough times.
Yeah,
that
just
they'll be
just keep calling them lazy. Yeah, I don't. What do you make of all that? Because I know that there's like a big, or I don't even know if it's actually a big uproar, but like some amount of uproar.
There's a loud uproar, if nothing else.
Right. Yeah. Regardless of how big it is loud. About like if they just waited or if they just spent more money, and it is a game franchise that makes a ton of money. Why not spend the resources, be they human money or time, to actually fill out the Pokedex?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Given enough time, I'm sure they could do it. But we just talked about this isn't. I mean, first of all, I should preface all this by saying that I'm a very casual.
Yeah.
Like, I've never had a complete Pokedex.
Yeah.
In any of the games, I don't really intend to ever have one, so this does not affect me at all.
Right.
So that being said, yeah, I mean, I guess they could, given enough time, fill out the entire Pokedex, but I guess, Pokemon is more than just a game. It's a anime, it's cards, it's merchandise, it's like all these things.
Yeah.
And they're clearly trying to make the trains run on time. I guess more than that, what I thought was interesting, do you remember a few months back, I can't remember if it was the official Sora account or if it was the official Smash Brothers account or something, they tweeted out a message that was like, "Hey, we know you guys are passionate, but stop bugging Sakurai about like DLC characters." And they only posted it on the English speaking channels. They did not post it in the Japanese ones. Same thing with this Pokemon message. Didn't show up on the Japanese Pokemon site, just on the English speaking ones.
Yeah, so that there is some component of like, I want to complain about this thing before it even exists. That, I mean, it ultimately just comes from this gross place, right? Like, I can sort of understand wanting to be able to carry your Pokemon forward forever in perpetuity through everything. But that is sort of what Pokemon Bank or Home does. It just means you can't use them here, and like, you play a lot of games that you can't import your Pokemon to. Like, that something not being a feature of the game isn't like a personal attack or insult to you.
I mean, I also just think that, as he's making very clear here, it seems to me that they have every intention of, in future games, some of the Pokemon that are missing will, that in generation, what it will be, 9 or 10, or whatever, that a huge feature of that is going to be, hey, every Pokemon ever is available in this game.
Right. Well, and you can't get those moments, just like you can't get the Smash Ultimate everyone is here without some of them not being there for a couple games. Like, yeah, it's just so weird to me that people want every game to be the ultimate version of that game. Like, we'll get there. Well, you'll get to a place where you can, import that Mr. Mime into something. And that's, that's something that they have stated previously, is that future Pokemon spin-off games you will be able to use Pokemon Home to export Pokemon to the spin-off games. So like there will be other opportunities to use those guys somewhere, even if it's not mainline Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely. When the Final Fantasy VII and 9 ports were released for Switch a while back, they included a long-standing bug where the overworld music would start from the beginning every time you re-entered the world map.
Which
So
means
after
every time you fight, yeah.
Yeah, after every battle. A few weeks back, Square Enix released a patch for Final Fantasy VII that fixed the issue. At the time, we were like, are they going to do one for Final Fantasy IX?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes. It's already out on PlayStation 4 and will presumably be released for Switch soon.
Well, good. That's I'll pretend that that's the reason I haven't been playing Final Fantasy IX for the last couple months.
I mean, really, once you found out that Final Fantasy VIII Remastered was coming,
Oh,
you were like, what
yeah.
other game do I need in my life?
I mean, Final Fantasy VIII is a game that I didn't finish back in junior high school, and haven't thought about except for to say, oh yeah, I didn't really play that game.
I know. I wonder if we should, because I definitely had played Final Fantasy VII more recently, Final Fantasy IX more recently. I wonder if we should go back and play Final Fantasy VIII when it comes out.
Oh, interesting. I mean, maybe it. The people that I know that have played it and like played all the way through it, like really stand by it as like, no, actually a good Final Fantasy. And I don't want to become one of those people, but like I would like to understand them better.
Right, yeah, exactly. I wonder if it's like a Majora's Mask situation. I'm just going to let that linger out there.
Sure.
The crowdfunded Igavania style game Bloodstained Ritual of the Night was released for Switch last week. The game is by all accounts exactly what fans of Castlevania have been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much in the vein of Symphony of the Night. Unfortunately, it's disappointing because the Switch performance is really poor compared to the PS4 and Xbox conversions or versions of it.
And this is something I think that we had sort of feared. And, you know, Mark and I are both into Castlevania style games, but we haven't, neither of us have picked it up or played it at all.
Yeah,
on Switch or on other platforms.
Yeah, I definitely want to pick it up on Switch. It just feels like the perfect platform for that. But
it's also just where I'm playing most of my games.
Right, exactly. But like word around it for whatever reason was always kind of sketchy, and it being delayed 1 week from the other versions, I wanted to wait to see how it turned out, and apparently it's turned out not that great. But publisher 505 Games has released a number of statements promising that they are shifting resources to patch the Switch version as quickly as possible. They say they plan to release a number of small patches rather than one large patch in an effort to show improvement faster.
Okay.
So below a list of what they're working on currently. A fix for HD Rumble, where apparently it was just like rumbling nonstop.
Oh, look, games you can't do that. You can't rumble nonstop. Here's the thing, my hands go numb. Right?
Yeah.
Just rumbling the whole time.
Problem number one.
Mm-hmm.
Crash stability, optimizing Miriam's jump, who's the main character of the game, variety of updates to the game and engine, including optimizing animation of certain enemies, addressing input delay wherever it occurs, and Switch-specific loading optimizations.
So a lot of fixes for this incoming.
And a lot of, like, when you're reading this list, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound good.
No, I mean, like, input lag on a game like this, especially, like, lag when the controllers are connected to the console itself. Like, ooh, boy.
They also say that they'll have more to announce soon and that they are committed long-term to the Switch version of the game, which, just from, like, anecdotal evidence, seems to make a lot of sense for them because in the UK, we know that sales of the Switch version, even though it came out a week after the other versions, has already basically... Sales of the Switch version are pretty close to being equal to sales of the PS4 and Xbox One versions combined.
Yeah, well, part of that traces its origins back to this game was kickstarted, and so a lot of people that were signing up for that were contributing to the original Kickstarter were hoping to get the Wii U version of this game.
Not that many people could have possibly.
It's my understanding that is a significant fraction
Wow.
of the backers were hoping to get it on Wii U, like on Nintendo hardware, and then had that like roll over to Switch. So like, yeah, I mean, just like you're saying that it feels like it would be right on Switch. It feels like it is right on a Nintendo platform.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I totally agree. So I think they see where their bread is buttered.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we do see them following
Some
up
butter
on their promises. Yeah, exactly. All talk, no butter. 505 Games. Finally, in Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, when Link first enters the Dark Realm, he turns into a pink rabbit.
Yeah, you bet. You got to get that moon pearl
Yeah,
so that you don't transform.
But it was always like, why? Why a pink? It was just like a weird, fun detail in a game that never really had any explanation.
Yeah.
So, in an interview with Game Informer, Link to the Past director Takashi Tezuka explained how that came to be.
Now, wait a minute. Before you read how this came to be,
Yes.
is this going to destroy some element of mystery about this game? Like, are we taking... I want to have a real conversation about this before we dive in. Are we taking something that is fundamentally mysterious and not understood and stripping it of that magic? Or by exploring it further, are we adding to the magic?
I mean, this is definitely the same sort of question that... what is the name of... Do you remember those specials from the late 90s?
Sure,
early
the Masked
2000s?
Magician.
The Masked Magician. Yeah. This is clearly a question that the Masked Magician had to wrestle with as well.
Right.
Before he revealed to the audience how levitation tricks.
And then he was murdered by all those magicians.
And were we to meet that same fate, worth it would be?
Yes. All right. Yes.
But
I'm going to say yes.
To
but
your point, magic spoiler warning. We're about to spoil the magic of A Link to the Past. So if you don't want to know,
right,
you're the type of person who gets walked off Splash Mountain and you keep your eyes down because you don't want to see how the robots work. We're ruining Link to the Past.
We are ripping off the mask here. I mean, first we are putting on masks.
Yes.
To be the masked magician. And then let's give away these secrets. Mark.
Okay.
It's a lot of buildup for what's not going to be that exciting.
Quote,
yes.
I really wanted to create a striking distinction between what Link normally looks like, so I wanted to create that severe distinction in his looks. If I...
It's a totally self-evident statement, but yes.
If I think of sort of a fantastic dream world, one of the first things I think about are rabbits.
Would you like to explore why you might think of rabbits first?
I mean, I think that could be very individual to Mr. Tezuka.
I mean, I would get. I have a guess I would like to venture. And
Please.
It is Alice in Wonderland.
Sorry. Before you get to your guess.
It was too late.
Right, no.
It's too late. We're there. We're in my guess already.
Before we
There's
discuss
no
it any
backpedaling.
further. While we are in
yes,
in your guess,
yes,
but we're at the shallow end of your guess.
Mm-hmm.
And are our masks still on? That's all I want.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes.
That's all I wanted.
Our masks, of course, are still on.
Okay.
We fear for our safety.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure.
Alice in Wonderland, right? There's the white rabbit. He leads Alice into a strange world.
Oh.
He is representative. There are 2 rabbit characters down there. There's also the March Hare who's hanging out with the Mad Hatter. So I think Lewis Carroll has a strong association with rabbits being representative of a strange world.
Yeah, now that you say that, that makes complete sense.
Yes. Here's one part that I'll quibble with a little bit. The rabbit is pink, right? It's a pink rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
In that game, Link has pink hair.
Yeah.
So he's keeping his hair color. And also long ears. That's a Link characteristic already. If you wanted to make him look really weird and really not like Link, you make him like a blue elephant or something. Right? I guess elephants have big ears too. Oh, you turn him into a snake.
You are serving a lot of attitude with this now. But you're right. Once the masks have gone on,
right? Then we got to burn the whole thing to the ground, or otherwise, what was the point of putting masks on?
Exactly.
So
in the inevitable Super Switch Link to the Past remake in the style of Link's Awakening,
right?
Please make it a blue elephant.
Please,
with big old ears.
Still big ears though,
but big in a different way.
Oh, okay. There we go. Wide.
Yeah, exactly.
Wide, round ears. All right, Mark. Let's get out of the news. Okay, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. If you like the episode, you can share it on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you share stuff. On Twitter, I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell, and the show is at Nin Cart Society. And we also have a Facebook page, and that is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Like it sounds. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying, just do anything else to the ears. And thanks for listening.
Campfire.